All right, folks, it's time again. Podcast number 6. Tonight, we got Gforce Outdoor Products, co-creator and owner, Nate Grace of Evolved Camo. Let's go. All right, Nate. Well, it looks like it's finally that time. We're here. We made it. After weeks of talking, we finally able to get ourselves together. It's 10:30 my time, 8:30 your time, to do this podcast about Evolved Camo, man. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here. And I want to tell everybody about our camo. It's going to be awesome.
I want you to tell everyone about your camo. I know very much about your camo. Up close and personal with animals type of deal. So, I'm excited for you to be here. I'm excited for the new line that's going to due to drop here to the public any day. And, so here's the question. I got a question. Before we dive into anything else, here's the question. What bow do you shoot? What broadheads are you wheeling? And any other archery equipment? Tell me.
All right, I actually switched bows this year. I've been a Matthews fan my whole life. I actually just switched to a Hoyt Carbon Defiant this year, and I've been really happy with it. I've only been shooting it a few weeks, but it's a sweet bow. Broadheads, big fan of the muzzies. Been shooting muzzies for years, and gold tip barrels all the way.
Awesome, man. That's good. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were a new Hoyt owner. Hey, man. Any bow works. Let's face it. It's an amazing thing how the equipment has evolved, and there I go using that word again. And how we all have our own preference, but man, we all find a way to get the job done. Obviously, Evolved Camo is definitely part of that. That process has been for me. So, first things first. Online Archery Challenge has been around for quite a few years now, and I came to know of Gforce Outdoor Products 3 years ago. A full year, Brian Keitlinger, who's one of your pro staff members, one of my friends, somebody I met through Evolve or through Online Archery Challenges, he joined my group, my competition, and I'm like, this dude is killing everything. And he's wearing this camo that I have never seen before. And, when you see guys being successful bow hunting, repetitively successful, I should say, you come to a moment where you're like, what are they doing that's working so well? Well, one of the things that I noticed was his camo, because I live in Pennsylvania. You're on the West Coast, correct? You're in Utah?
Yeah, we're out in Utah.
And, Brian's in PA, and I'm like, his woods aren't much different than my woods. And that's how my introduction to what Evolved Camo is and the company had come about. So with that being said, Brian and I got to talking, and Gforce was fortunately looking for some people to help represent their company and come on pro staff. And I said to Brian, I had never, at that point, I was not on any pro staffs ever. And I had said to Brian, I said, I'm not really the pro staff type of guy, but, I know what you are capable of, and I know what that camo has done for you. So, I think I'm game. If I'm going to give it a try, I'm going to give it a try on something I have confidence in. Going in, not even, actually at the time, not even being a customer, but I wanted to dive on board. Fast forward to last year. So, managed to get myself a full set of gear, get out hunting, take the biggest buck of my life here in Pennsylvania, wearing the entire Evolved Camo system. And, it's just, it made it, I guess you see others be successful throughout our entire nation. Our pro staff are so spread out. And but it's a different feeling when the moment that deer looks at you, literally, I mean, you as in me, looked at me for a solid 30 seconds in the tree, minimal backdrop behind me because I was up in a tree just because of the angle, and that deer had no idea I was there. Not an iota that I was even present. Talking about being a believer prior, hunting other animals. I did shoot a doe prior to that, but man, that moment just was so amazing. And I honestly do attribute it to the camo system. Obviously other things go along into it, but, and that's how we met, through the pro staff situation, and, and just following the camo and watching so many people within online archery challenges and just within the social media community that we both kind of shared at the time, being successful everywhere, So with that quick introduction, and just to kind of give some background on where OAC fits into Gforce and how Gforce is a sponsor, has been a sponsor since day one of OAC, which I thank you. I'm very grateful for. With that being said, we have the new gear being released June 19th, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. It is a little late in the year. There's some reasons for it, just for some design issues we've had, and we just wanted to make sure the product was the best for release, and that's why it's coming out a little later than we'd hoped, but I'd rather release a product that's quality than release something just because of a time frame.
Yeah, and good things come to those who wait, Nate.
Right.
No doubt. So let me just ask. So we talked about a couple things that we wanted to discuss, and in relationship to the gear in the past, what are the changes? Actually, scratch that. Let me go into a different question. We talked about this. How Evolved Camo came about. Like, where was the founding moment? What was the founding moment where Nate Gray said, I want to create a camo pattern, and this is what I want to do?
It actually came to me when I was out in the field about 5 years ago. I was hunting a canyon where I hunt. It's sagebrush to quaggy trees to aspen trees to pine trees, all within a mile of each other. And I was sitting there under a tree. We don't tree stand out here a whole lot. It's mule deer country, spot and stalk. I'm sitting there on a trail. The deer comes down. I'm wearing a different camo. The deer looks up at me about 50 yards away and looks at me and turns around and runs. And that was an aha moment for me. I just added a picture into somebody's house that they walk through every single day. They're going to notice a different tree there. And I'm like, I got to become something that they see or do not see. And so I'm like, I got to wear something that I'm not hanging up a couch or a picture or putting a couch in somebody else's living room that obviously they're going to notice right off the bat. Those deer walk that trail every single day. If I just put another object there, they know it's not supposed to be there. They know something's out of the way. So I started thinking, I'm like, I got to design something. I got to find a way that I can be in their environment where they possibly can see me, but they can't tell what I am. And so I started researching colors. I worked with a color artist for about a year. We did different designs, different color patterns, different layouts, and we finally came to the pattern that we have now with the colors that we have. And a lot of people say, well, it's different than everything else, and all I can say to that is thank you, because that's what we're trying to be, is different than everybody else. And what we want to do is when we're out there and you're in the greens come forward. And so you're blending into the environment, but also the other colors are working against nature. So when a deer looks at you, it's breaking up your human silhouette and making you basically disappear.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think one of the conversations, I have multiple conversations with people, and, because it looks so different from other camo, and to the human eye, so many people buy camo based on what it looks like to the human eye, and they don't take in consideration when camo is made specifically with the concept of the animal involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
we get that a lot. If we're out at trade shows and stuff, people will be like, "Oh, it's awesome," but I just don't think it'll fit in my environment. Then they start watching our video that's playing, and they're like, "Well, is that guy wearing the same pattern as this that's here?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's only one pattern. That's all we have." And they're like, "Well, how come this one shows darker than this?" And I'm like, "It's because of where he's at. It literally changes from every environment. What you're in is what pulls through." And once they start seeing that and seeing pictures, then they start becoming believers. And I mean, it takes time to get people to understand. But if we wanted just to sell a different line of camo, we could have went forth and just purchased licensing from another camo company. But we wanted to evolve. We wanted to make things better. We wanted to blend in anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I learned that early on, thankful to the content that you guys put out, the website, kind of doing the research beforehand, before getting involved, and seeing, following you guys on Facebook, thankfully getting to know Grant Burnett, who's on our pro staff and who's a leader amongst the group, no doubt, and then seeing all of the successful hunts. And when I said this earlier, I would like to reiterate it. In my experience in coming from the outside involved with a company, literally successful hunts all over the country, all sorts of terrain, from the tree stand to the ground. And like you said, obviously it works in Pennsylvania, and we're a bunch of tree stand hunters for the most part, but it was developed with the Western hunter in mind. So, I mean, that's when you talk about almost an all-encompassing camo. That's what Evolved is. In my opinion, I know what your feelings are, but that's it's so hard to grasp that concept, because without mentioning names, there's so many camo companies out there that just want to just sell different products.
That's where we could just sell a product, but that's not what we wanted, and that's why I spent 2 long years just designing clothing, just designing patterns. Just the background of it is, 12 hours a day just designing it. It's a hard concept, and we wanted to stand out and be different, but actually work and make it easier in the field, so you don't have to worry about hiding in the shadows and making yourself only hunt certain areas. We wanted to make it so you could be everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what else? You don't have to spend $500 for a jacket.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing I had in my head the whole time. I'm like, I'm an average guy. I work a day job. I work 12 hours a day. And, every cent I had went into this camo. We designed it. We're real people. We're hunters. We're workers. We're family people. And that's who we wanted to be able to afford it. We wanted to design pro-quality camo for the average guy that can go, I'd rather you spend your money on your hunts and your food and your camp than your camouflage. You need to buy your camo and your gear, get 2 sets of gear for the price of a pair of pants somewhere else.
Absolutely. That's another point of emphasis that I would like to, make note of for those who listen to the podcast and to understand that it's that affordable. It is that functional and it is that affordable, so that, as I say it all the time, Billy Joe Bowhunter has an option to go spend a minimal amount of money. It's still an investment, but a minimal amount of money on a full camo system that will work for every single season, every time of the year, in every place in this country, and beyond. So, we're
really super excited for 2017. All the new gear coming out. We listen to our pro staff. We listen to our customers, and we made a lot of design changes and everything. We took multiple polls on what people would like to see, and we listened to our customers. Our product is for our customers, and that's who we need to listen to. And we're super excited about some of the fabric we came out with this year, and let's
talk about it. Tell me what are some of the major changes? that you want to release now?